today we've got what I feel is a very important webinar. It's been one that we've been talking about for quite a while. And it's something that, and I don't want to take too much out of what Mark wants to say, but it's been something that's been on his radar for quite a while as well. And we all talked about it back in January, back in mid-January. We were talking about trying to do our own website, try to get it going, try to get it up. The old one was a little crusty, and and this plays so well when it comes to getting new members and retaining membership as well, because you have to have a clean house before you can invite anybody over, right? So we feel we're getting our house clean. Uh, it's still not all the way there. So what you're about to see is just a soft launch. We will have some tweaks going on that will continue to evolve as well. So before I go any further into that, I'd like to introduce everyone to our president, Mark Ergang. Mark, would you like to say a few words and talk about your passion for what we're doing here today?
Thanks, Wayne. No, thank you everyone for taking time out today. This Zoom today is something that I personally and the board have been waiting for many, many months, and I'm sure many people on here have been waiting for it for a couple of years. But this was one of our prime initiatives as an executive board. We obviously, became aware of some of the challenges from the international level, as you guys have all encountered and experienced. And we had to make a decision as a board. Do we sit and wait for international to resolve their website issues, which would impact all of you and all the clubs? Or do we make a, executive decision with, the support of all of you to go ahead and kind of create our own website for USA? So thanks to all of you with your support at the, meeting in Florida and everything else. We moved ahead. We put it out for RFP. We had a bunch of interviews, and we awarded the website to Realign, which you're going to hear in a few minutes from Dan Bradley. Dan and his dad Rich have done a phenomenal job of getting the website, to a point where they can present it today. Back to what I was saying. So anyway, this was a major initiative, for the USA, and I'm really glad that we were able to move forward with it. I think you're going to be really happy with what you hear and see today. All of you have been asking for this again for many, many moons, and the board is just really excited to say that we were able to, to get the clubs what they were asking for. And if you read John and Wayne's hot hits, we're going to be doing a similar Zoom with Ashley, who's who's spearheading our social media, which was another major initiative for this year. So feel good about that. Your USA board has listened to you and has addressed some of the top concerns that you guys shared with us over the last year. And I'm hoping you'll like what you hear today and what you see today. So I don't want to take any more time. I'm going to pass it back to Wayne. Thank you for taking time out of your day to participate in this. And I think you'll be very happy to hear from Dan Bradley in a few minutes. Thank you, Wayne.
Yep, yep. Thank you, Mark. John, you want to go ahead and just take it over here now? Make sure you turn your microphone on, because I do have everybody muted.
Yeah,
And
thanks, Wayne.
please introduce us to Dan and everyone.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Wayne. And good afternoon, everybody. Again, I share the enthusiasm and excitement that Mark and Wayne and everyone have shared with this project. This is something that has been a labor of love. By no means is this this is, there's such an improvement over what we have. I'm so excited about it, but by no means is this completely locked down, etched in granite. We've got a lot of work left to do. We've got the challenge is our connectivity with Skal International and having the ability to link over and log in. Our goal is to make it as seamless as possible between us and Skal International. And if we can't do that, then we try to take that information on and manage it on our end. But we have that connection. That's a connection that is very important to us, and we're going to rely on Skal International to provide support and information. It was disappointing to hear at the World Congress that Skal International still has a long ways to go before they release a new website. So again, as Mark and Wayne and everyone mentioned, we just decided to, hunker down and make it happen on our end. So hopefully, with their efforts over in Spain and our continued work here, we're going to get cooperation. We're going to get what we need to, again, make our users make it as easy to get the information they're looking for. And again, this is as Wayne mentioned, kind of a soft opening and unveiling, but by no means is this etched in granite. So we're going to continue to work at it. We're going to add, we need to add some images. We need to add some more links. But I think what you're going to see today from Dan Bradley, I think you're going to be very impressed. And again, just to mention Dan, Dan has been an incredible individual to work with. Again, we looked at four vendors, and we selected Realign and Dan because of Dan's his background and his tenacity and his support and willingness to work with us. And it's I hate saying it, but it's part of the lineage of the Bradley family. We're fortunate to have Dan's father, Rich, on our club, and Rich and Dan and Mike have all stepped up. With the NASCA event in Clearwater, the production of the Florida retreat. They have a true passion for Skal, and that's not so it goes beyond a vendor buyer relationship. This is a embedded relationship that we're going to continue to tap on and work with Dan to get what we need and what we want to hear from everyone today. And the takeaway is we want to get your feedback. We want to keep the line of communication open with all of our members, our clubs, to do what we need to do to fine tune what we have and make it even better. But I think what you're going to hear today, what you're going to see today, you're going to be very impressed. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dan.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Wayne, and thank you, Mark. This obviously wouldn't be a big deal if there wasn't so many people here on a Thursday afternoon excited to get a glimpse at what's to come in the future. It's the near future, I should say. And I know that this has been a collective pain for many Skal members. And so we are thrilled at the opportunity to be able to build you something that you're proud of. So thank you for that opportunity. And I'd like to just kind of walk you through what we have so far and kind of explain for those who don't know, and I'm sure it's not many, but where we came from and the different enhancements that we've been adding to the website and what you can look forward to at launch. I think you all are going to love that new site smell when we go through it. So unveiling of the new website, and more importantly, what it means for your club, because this isn't just something that's taking place at the national level. This is something that local clubs can take advantage of as well. So the why behind our redesign, John kind of talked about this a lot already, but very specifically from a tactical point, the current website, which we're going to call the old website now, has an outdated design and navigation. You can see when we ran a performance test, the page took about 4 seconds to load. And when we go through the new website, one thing you'll notice right away is just how quickly the website loads, the pages pop up, the images populate, and that's just a quicker way for you to get the information that you need. There's also the need to reach beyond the existing Skal members. There is a definite need and a gap to appeal to new members. And what does that mean? Well, when we ran an SEO analysis of the Skal website, what we found was Skal ranked for Skal. That was about it. You had to know about Skal to search for it and then find it online. The need to appeal to new members is obviously a need that's universal across organizations if they want to continue to grow. But what the reality of it is the new members that are looking for Skal don't know they're looking for Skal. They know they want to find a hospitality trade association. They want to find a group that shares travel and networking professionals. They're looking for something like Skal, but they don't know that it's Skal. So we've designed, or the current website, again, only ranked for Skal. I'll talk about our new design in a minute, but we've focused the content to reach those people as they're searching for keywords that would lead them to Skal without having to search for Skal. Following along on that, improving SEO visibility for tourism, hospitality, and travel sector, so promoting the businesses as well and our members. Centralizing communication and resources for national and local clubs, something that hasn't quite been done through the website, and delivering information in an efficient and timely manner. I think for all the reasons that I've just explained, but that wasn't very well done on the old website. So the goals of the new website: embrace new and advanced technology to develop a forward-thinking website. So we're not trying to build a website that is good for the 2020s or 2025, or maybe it'll be good into 2026. We're trying to build a website that can scale for a decade and possibly longer. As technology is rapidly changing every single day, the website needs to keep up. In fact, how visitors and users and consumers find websites and find information is changing day by day as well. So our website is going to we've planned the website with that in mind. Another goal is to showcase Skal USA as a home for industry professionals. So again, how do we reach those people who don't know they're looking for Skal? That is a major goal for this website. Reaching them through SEO-focused content, highlighting the networking, leadership, and friendship pillars, simplifying resources for content, or simplifying resources and content for members. I think you'll see, I'll demo a quick tool on the website, but just how quickly you can get the information that you're looking for. And then obviously support for the local clubs and chapters and overall association growth. Those are our goals for the website. So the architecture, this is about it. It's very simple. We have only a handful of navigation items at the top menu there. Our homepage is a landing spot. It's not an overload of information. There are several doors for you to go down if you want to find out more about a specific thing. There's information about Skal USA, about international, about Young Skal, so that's all very important. Events. One of the priorities of this website is to not only promote national events and international events, but local club events as well. And joining Skal, the information associated with that and the application, as well as any member resources and a contact page. Very simple, very concise. There are items within those navigation menu items if you wanted to explore more about a specific topic, find more information, but it's not thrown all at you all at once in a confusing manner. So this is a quick snapshot of what the new header looks like. It's just those 6 items up there. Some key enhancements that we've been working on that the website will feature. One, so elite hosting and security. So the website is built to be fast, efficient, and safe with regard to data and everything from the ground up. It's engineered to be quick. It's engineered to be effective. We are moving from Odoo to WordPress. WordPress is the industry standard for websites. It's highly customizable, scalable, user-friendly, which is very important when we're talking about providing a solution for local clubs. For those that don't have somebody who's in IT or have an administrator who is familiar with web design or web development, WordPress is very much a layman software. One thing that's really important, if you're unaware of best practices for websites today, to have a mobile-friendly and a modern scaling website. So this is a screenshot of the website in a desktop view. What's really important, though, is that about a third to 40% of web traffic is mobile now, and it's continuing to grow. So as you connect through mobile, oops, I'm sorry, I went back one more time. As you connect through your mobile, it's important that your website doesn't break when you do that. It's important that you can still get the information in a beautiful way, nicely presented. So this website is mobile friendly and does scale between desktop, tablet, and mobile without having to reload. We have a plan to integrate a CRM into the USA website. The CRM that we're looking at is called Membership Works. Regardless of the, if Membership Works is the final solution for that, we will be integrating a CRM that doesn't have a separate experience to access member information. So it's one website, it's one experience. Membership Works is an affordable and scalable CRM that has surveys, votes, elections, career pages. You can post classifieds or job opportunities. You can post deals. So if you run an attraction or a hotel and you want to post Skal only deals. I know some of these benefits already exist, but just to illustrate that, they're going to continue on into the new website and be even better. Of course, we have public and members only pages, and it does integrate through several different things like MailChimp or Constant Contact is on there too. I didn't include that, but Google Analytics. One thing that I found to be really crazy is that there is no Google Analytics on the current website. So there is no way to effectively track what's the, how many visitors are going to the website, where they're going, how long they're spending there. There are no analytics for it. So we're building that with that top of mind. Some more enhancements that we're working on, a unified international, national, and local events. So we'll have a unified calendar where local clubs can submit events to be featured on the USA calendar. We'll, of course, have the USA events as well and international events on there. But one of the goals of the USA site is to promote the local clubs around the country. SEO optimization, I talked a little bit about that. So we are building the content and the structure to not only be SEO forward for traditional searching, but for LLMs or large language models. The average user is starting to use ChatGPT and other similar services like Google Gemini or Claude or DeepSeek to find information and find it quickly. So if you have been reading anything about Google and Apple in the last year or so, you might know of a story that tells that Google was paying about $2 billion or so to Apple in order to have Google be the default search engine on iPhones. What Google has noticed over the last two months is, for the first time in history since that deal happened, Google searching on Apple devices is down 2 months in a row. That doesn't mean that people aren't searching. It means they're pivoting towards other places to search, and they're no longer using the Google platform. They're using ChatGPT. They're using these other AI tools. So when I talk about building a forward-thinking website and something that can scale for the next decade, yeah, it's really important to rank well for those that are searching on Google, but we also have to be prominent when somebody's searching on ChatGPT for, can you let me know of any networking, hospitality, networking, travel events around me, or any clubs that I can join, something like that. When AI responds to you, we want to be considered in those responses. And the way to do that is to become a trustworthy and consistent source of information. AI recommends, or they provide answers based on trustworthiness. And Google, to some extent, does that too. If they don't feel that you're trustworthy, you're not going to rank high. But AI can take that a little bit further. AI might see that your address on one page differs from an address on another page, even if it's a typo. And when you think about if you're recommending a business personally, What are you looking to, how can you justify recommending that business? Well, they've been in business 20 years. Well, the executive has an MBA in this, and I checked their website out. It's credible. AI kind of does the same thing. So I went a little bit deeper on that than I expected, but all to say that we are working on making sure that the Skal USA website is positioned in the best place possible to be featured in any type of AI search results, and to be featured accurately when searching. Dynamic news and press release information. So right now we have set up automatic feeds from international whenever they post a new blog, press release. Of course, the USA feed is on there too. And then over time, we'll be adding integration for local clubs to have their news stories featured on the USA website. Going back to consistency and credibility with the AI searching, if a local club is sharing a story that's also featured on the USA website, that's also featured on international, well, that's a very credible source. That's the models would consider that to be very credible. So as you'll see when we go on later, consistent branding, consistent websites, consistent information across Skal at all levels, from international to the national to the local level, will create a strong chain of credibility for everybody involved. Talking about AI integration, so I kind of jumped the gun on this a little bit, but for members, well, I'll start before I talk about members. We will have an AI search engine on the actual Skal website, the Skal USA website. And it differs from a traditional search because regular search, you might type in keywords and then it'll filter through the different pages on the website or maybe different news articles, and then it'll get you feedback not based on what it thinks would be relevant for you, but literally this matched this keyword, so you get this result, whether or not it's relevant to you or not. Having an AI search engine on the website, the tool ingests everything on the site, and then it can be a reference for you. It can be a shortcut to, I didn't want to poke through 2 or 3 pages and download this and find out on page 4 the answer that I'm looking for. You can simply just search it and it will tell you. It's very similar to when you're searching on Google. Instead of looking through the top 5 results and finding the answer you're looking for, now there's a brief summary at the top that's providing that, hopefully, the relevant information for you. It functions almost the exact same way. And I'll show you in a couple minutes what that looks like. But for members, what that means, instant answers. So quickly access event details, membership resources. Let's say you're looking for brand guidelines. Like, I don't remember the exact color code for Skal Blue. So instead of going to the brand standards page and then downloading the brand standards PDF and then looking on page like 7 to go find it, you can just ask, what is the Skal Blue color code? And then it'll tell you. Simplified navigation, again, you don't have to search the whole site and comb through things to find information. The tool will learn from common questions to provide smarter and faster responses over time. So out of the box, it's not perfect, but it's like a new hire. It gets trained over time and ultimately becomes better the more experience that it has. And finally, support and connection. So it will direct users to local clubs and contacts or specific forums in seconds. But for new members, it's a real engaging first impression. So visitors can interact with Skal USA immediately through conversational Q&A. The website functions for many different things. It functions to be an information source, but it's also your 24/7 sales tool. And that's part of the reason in our early discussions while we talked about this is so critical to revise and make to the best of its ability, is because your website says a lot about you. It's the first impression that many people have. And so for Skal, we want it to be our best foot forward, especially given the industries that we come from, how important that is. So an engaging first impression is always a great first step. They can easily learn about membership. They can ask quick questions about what are the benefits, what are the dues, where are the locations at, the club locations. And then finally, it can encourage a sign up or a lead capture or maybe a subscription to a newsletter. It's really good for capturing potential new members. Now it's time for our live demo. So I'm going to quickly stop sharing. And I am going to pull up the website on a different tab.
Do we need a drum roll?
I beat you to it. So this is our new website. Again, as John said, there are a couple finishing touches that we have to put on here, some more integrations that we have to finish integrating. But this is already a huge step forward from what's currently there. And it's almost at the point where we're able to hot swap the current website with the new website. And there's that much more benefit just for doing that. If you can quickly see, we have just a little bit of SEO content. We have some familiar elements like Skal by the numbers, but you'll notice that we've added a little bit of text here and there. That's specifically for SEO. It includes keywords that we want to rank for. So travel and tourism professionals, global network through local chapters, so on and so forth. So going on down further, again, a couple things need to be integrated still, but a latest news feed, it can feature things from local chapters or local clubs if they would like to submit some information. A couple familiar faces here, and a call to
I
action.
had nothing to do with that.
He slipped me another 5 just to put his face on there. A call to action to join, and then something that John's very proud of, but we have a scrolling ticker with latest industry news between travel, between tourism, hospitality, so on and so forth. And we have the ability to integrate almost any feed into there. So if we'd be looking for recommendations down the road, if you have a very trustworthy news source or one that you would like to feature on the website here, we put it at the bottom again, not to overload people with information, but as they're going through and they'd like to see some articles, some relevant and new articles that have just come out, this is a good place to get that information.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but will that ticker help from an SEO standpoint?
It will. The headlines will, because the headlines are populating on the website. But when we talk about SEO, there's a concept called backlinking. And if you're not familiar about backlinking, basically the number of websites that feature a link to another website and kind of build like a web of links back and forth to each other is another sign of credibility. Like, you wouldn't want to put a scammy website link on your website. So the more kind of backlinks that you have and the more kind of cross connection that you have instead of being siloed is definitely helpful for SEO, and the ticker does help with that.
And again, I just want to tip my hat to Wayne Lee on this one. This was Wayne's idea, which I thought was excellent. And it's again, just instant credibility looking at all these great sources of information and the latest and greatest. So
while we're here, so you might notice in the bottom left or bottom right, there's a little badge with the Skal logo, and that is one of the interfaces of our AI search tool. And so I'll demo how it works. This is a interface of more of like a chat, and there's 2 different interfaces that we have. So one of them is a chat. The other one is more of a traditional search bar. At least that's what it looks like. And so discussions on which one is better, which one we want to go forward with are happening. So there's not a final decision on that yet, but I would like to demo both just so you can see how they work. So welcome to Skal USA. How may I help you? So I look very good, but I am 22 years old and I just graduated, I'm in my MBA, and I'm looking to find out more about Young Skal. So I might say, what is Young Skal? Before I submit that, I could go to About Skal, and then I can go to Young Skal down that page. But if this is my first time to the website, I might not know to look there. And again, we can't just throw everything on the home page and hope that people scroll down and find something. So I might search, what is Young Skal? Instead of having to go find that information, it spits back that Young Skal is part of Skal International that focuses on engaging young professionals in the tourism and hospitality industry, fostering networking and professional development opportunities. Would you like to learn more or about any specific events or initiatives related to Young Skal? It does follow with that prompted question at the end to keep engagement going, to keep fine-tuning how it can best give information to you. So this, I believe, is only a benefit in how we deliver information to the people who want it in an effective and quick manner. And if I wanted to try the traditional, quote unquote, traditional search, by clicking the magnifying glass icon in the top menu here, it's on the right side. I don't know if you can see my mouse, I don't think so, but it's to the right of Contact Us. The interface will get cleaned up. It won't be just like a big bar, but essentially, I can ask the same question. What is young skull? So initially you'll see the prompt that it gives you. It's actually a different prompt this time. And so as I mentioned, this is a learning tool. So as it gives answers, it checks itself to see how happy it was with that answer. And this one I like a little bit better. It's more information, but it actually gives you a link. I can learn more about the mission and activities of Young Skull by clicking this link, and that goes to the Young Skull page. It also tells you where it got that information from. That's the Young Skull page. That's the reference. Then, if you wanted to read more about Young Skull, it gives you some information about that. So this is the Young Skull Singapore and an article about how it grows in numbers. First Young Skull USA virtual happy hour. And all these different things. So it's designed to give you that information that you need in a quick manner, and then any more information that you might be interested in, instead of having to go find it all by itself. So enough about the AI. I say that, but it's a really great thing. Wanted to show a couple other things that we're working on as well. So we have the Skal USA Club Finder, and this is a very focused tool just for USA clubs. International has something similar, but it's only for, I mean, it's for every club in the world, but it's not quite as fine-tuned. This is specifically for the USA Club Finder. So let's say I'm a new visitor and I'm looking for a club near me. So I can search anything in this bar, but if I wanted to search by location, I could search, I'm looking for a club within 30 miles of, this is a zip code that I'm in, it's just outside of Orlando. So knowing that, I found Skal Orlando. And that's my closest club, that's the one within 30 miles. If I wanted to extend that by 200 miles, I should probably get most of the ones in Florida. Now, in fairness, the only profile that I built out so far was the Orlando chapter, but I am able to see Southwest, Tampa, Northeast, and Miami, as well as a map of all of them too. So that's how the Club Finder will work. The other thing, a couple other things I want to demo, but the next thing that I wanted to demo is the Skal USA and local events. So this is our calendar. And again, local clubs can submit events to the USA website, and I highly, highly encourage that you do, because again, all of that consistency across sites, all of that backlinking, all those things are good, not just for Skal USA and their SEO, but the local club's SEO too, because in the eyes of a search engine, in the eyes of Google, in the eyes of ChatGPT, Skal USA is a more credible authority than a local Skal chapter. So being linked together with that same information is good for both sides. So here is a very basic version of the calendar. We only have a couple events in there. We have the Skal Las Vegas 62nd anniversary. If anyone here is from Las Vegas, congrats on that anniversary. Today we have the Skal USA website unveiling, and then in 2 weeks we have the Skal USA social media update. You might know that already, but let's say we had 20 events on here and I wanted to see, well, which ones are just at the USA level? And I can filter that. Which ones are just at the local chapter level? Well, we just have one right now, but that's it. And then I pulled all this information directly from the event mail out itself. So that's why it kind of looks like that. But it's got register link, it's got the map, and it's got all the information here. So another way that USA is going to promote the events of the local chapters and try to help the local chapters with exposure. One of the last things I'm going to show at this time is the couple resources here under the news and media section, with this one being the Skal USA webinar series. So Skal obviously does a lot of webinars. We're on one right now. And this is a beautiful way to find the webinars, including the latest webinar, without having to dig through YouTube or go back through your hot hits or your emails or anything like that. So we have this beautiful man, Arthur, here, and his latest webinar. So the latest webinar will populate right up there. And I can either scroll down or click View More Webinars, and you'll see the library of webinars there. So before that, there was Barry. Before that, there was a couple other ones, but you can see that this is a much easier way to get this information and this content. If I wanted to watch something, it's as simple as clicking. You don't leave the website. Didn't want that to play at full volume, but anyway, you can see you can play the video here, and then maybe you click the wrong video. Well, now you're not on YouTube. You can actually just exit, and then you can go to the next video. So everything is kind of self-contained here on this webinar page. We have integrations with all of these different sources. So press releases through PRN or PR Newswire, Skal International's blog posts and news articles, their newsletters, and of course the Skal USA newsletters. So in terms of press releases, this feeds in directly from PR Newswire, anything that Skal International posts, Skal International News, and this pulls directly from there. So sometimes there's a bit of a hiccup in data collection. There we go. So this pulls directly from the Skal International website. And if I click View More, it'll take me directly to that. And again, their website goes a little bit slower, so that's why you can kind of get an idea. This is the Skal International website. This is why they're trying to fix some things too. But anyway, this is where it feeds from. So that's why it takes a second to load. But if we go to the USA newsletters, still working on that. We're going to cut that one out. But the latest Skal International newsletters looks like a couple went out in October, and then some ones previously in that. But that's all integrated directly. So the last thing I'll kind of cover is the membership side of things. So as John mentioned, we're waiting on some integration to go directly with Skal International, because that right now is the source of truth, so to speak, for all the membership records, for all the members themselves. You're technically on the digital side of things, you're a member of Skal International, and they manage your credentials and account and everything like that. So we could have a couple of different options there, waiting to connect with them. Or we could just try to pull everything, as John said, and kind of host our side of things local to this website and manage our members separately. But bottom line is we want to do everything we can to make sure that, one, the user experience is not interrupted. So currently, if you're going to take a look at the Skal database, you would just click Skal database and you go back to the international website, and you'll sign in with the credentials that you're used to. So we're not breaking any connections right now, but we are still trying to figure out the best way to integrate with international. And I believe that's all I'm going to show on the demo today. So I'm going to stop my screen for a second and switch back to the PowerPoint. Well, John, if you have any comments or anything you want to add while I do that, please go ahead.
Yeah. So thanks, Dan. Great job. You guys, any questions or comments? I will say that Karen, thank you for your question about how the local club events will make it to the calendar. But obviously, we want to link. The goal is to link the local club sites, whether they're residing with the national club, a landing page or a website that, again, can be provided by Realign, or linked from the existing sites that we again have a link to. But when the event is posted, the idea is to post it to the local club site, and then it would populate onto the calendar at the national site. Correct, Dan?
Yeah, if we do a full integration between the chapter or the club and the USA site, that would be automatic.
Yeah.
I do have a couple slides on that, so I can go through that real quick. How are we doing on time?
I think we've got till at least 5, but these webinars run a little late, so anyone who can't stay, we're going to be recording this, you guys, so you'll be able to access it through our YouTube page. We'll have a link that we'll also push out on Hot Hits, but yeah, so we'll spend as much time as we need to.
Okay. Well, I probably only have maybe 5 minutes left, and then there's time for Q&A and everything like that. So,
Okay.
so what's next? Where we are? So we saw where we came from. You just saw where we are with the website. What's next? So continue to refine the content on the website, and the SEO is really important. If anybody is familiar with SEO, it's never a one and done kind of thing. It used to be that Google was changing their algorithm like all the time, and so you had to keep up with Google. But now, not only do you have to do that, but you have to keep up with the learning language, or the large language models, the AI that we talked about before. So one of the things just kind of behind the scenes that we do when we're talking about AI is, or we're talking about SEO, is we do use AI to help with that, and have a tool like ChatGPT take on a personality and say, so you are a Skal member, review the website and tell me what you found easy, what you found difficult, what you liked, what you didn't like. We also take on the personality of, you're a travel professional who stumbled upon the Skal USA website. How likely are you to become a member, and why? And what would make that conversion easier or better? So we're doing a lot of different research and testing with the website with regard to SEO. We also will be releasing regular updates through events and press releases. I'm sure that'll be through the when we officially launch and all that. But regular updates to the website. Final integration and transition. Again, that might be that timeline's kind of not in our hands. It just kind of is whenever we can fully integrate with international or decide to do something else. And finally, we encourage member and club feedback. So this is ultimately, as a local club member, you're a member of your local club, but you are a Skal USA member. This is also your website. So we definitely encourage your feedback as time goes on to fine tune this and make this like I said, a website that you're all proud of. Local clubs. So what does this mean for local clubs? That's the second part of our title for this. The clubs can adopt consistent website templates and branding. And what that means is we have options for you to literally have a micro version or a multi-site of this website, or for those smaller clubs who maybe don't have the budget for something like that, you can have a featured landing page on the Skal USA website. And this website, again, is supposed to be a resource for the local clubs. So all of the hosting is going to be shared. And what does that mean? That means Skal USA is paying the bill. So local clubs, you don't have that monthly $30, $40, $50 a month to support your website. If you go with a microsite or you go with a landing page, you're going to be sharing the same hosting resources that the USA Club or the USA does. And finally, the website can integrate with Membership Works. If you have your own CRM like Wild Apricot or other things, it can more than likely integrate with that too. There may not be automatic feeds and connections on some things, but WordPress is so user-friendly and scalable that it more than likely can adopt or adapt to whatever solution is best for your chapter or your club. So what kind of benefits does this provide for the local clubs? Professional unified online presence, easier event promotion, improved member recruitment and visibility, and as I talked about a couple times already, shared SEO strength across the Skal network. So here are the two options that I talked about. You have a multi-site clone, which is a light clone of the USA website. Comes with 5 pages or so, includes things like blog, and I say blog, but that could also be newsletter, news releases, things like that, like content updates, contact page, events, things like that. Can integrate with Membership Works or other CRMs, and free hosting. And what that would look like for you is it would be the club.skalusa.org. So www.orlando, www.boston, hawaii.skalusa.org. Versus a landing page, and so the setup cost for the multi-site clone is $800. That's one time. That's just to get the website cloned, to get your pages set up. And again, you don't owe anything on hosting or anything after that. That's a one-time thing that the chapter has. With the landing page, the more affordable option for, well, the $800 is pretty affordable, but the $225 is even a more affordable option. It's a landing page that'll exist on the Skal USA website. $225 is the cost for that. So that would include one page on the USA website. It has limited features compared to the multi-site, where the multi-site is its actual own website. You have space on the Skal USA site, but you can manage that page and you can put whatever you want on it. But again, free hosting. And that is for the chapter that I don't care about online as much. I don't care about the website. I need to have one, but I don't have the time and the resources to invest in something like that. Skal USA is a resource for you. You can have a landing page on Skal USA. What it would look like is skalusa.org/club, whatever club that is. So skalusa.org/Orlando, for example. If you have a current domain that your website is on, we can direct it or forward it to your new website, so you don't have to lose that domain. Especially if you have, like, for example, I'm in Orlando, so skalorlando.com or .org. We can direct that to your new website. You don't have to get rid of that domain. And that's the extent of the things that I'm going to cover right now. So I wanted to, I'll take some Q&A if I can, but I just wanted to say again, I know this is obviously very important just from the people that I've spoken to about this and the initiative behind it. But again, there are many people here who are interested in finding out what's the future of the website. And I know you wouldn't be taking the time out of your day and your busy schedule if it wasn't important to you. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your trust and hopefully building something that you're proud of. And I will kick it back to John to facilitate some Q&A maybe.
Thank you, Dan. Great job. And there are some questions here that folks are asking. The first question is from Jennifer out in Hawaii. Hey, Jen. Is there a Skal USA group discount? And again, we didn't really address the pricing, but the pricing for the landing page and the microsite is extremely affordable. And again, as Dan mentioned, the cost savings by having it hosted in conjunction with Skal USA is another saving. So the one-time cost to build, a landing page is $250, and and then $800 for a microsite. So with obviously a lot more features, more information, but there's something for every club here. And then another question is for the site option, the clubs have full control to make changes. Absolutely. Again, whether Realign, provides you support. Again, everyone, we would encourage every club to have somebody who's versed in a website, simple stuff, administrative work such as updating text content, copy content, or photographs. Those things are relatively easy. WordPress is as Dan mentioned, a very user-friendly website to use. So it's once you get the hang of it, it's very simple. And then is there a limit to the number of pages that a club can have? Dan, you want to answer that?
Theoretically, no. If you do the microsite, we are going to provide you with about 5 or so, and then when we kind of hand the keys over, you're more than welcome to. We're not going to self-impose a cap on you just because we're not charging you more. That just covers the setup of what we're doing. So if you wanted to add more pages on your own, that's your website at that point, and you can do that. The other thing I will say, John mentioned having someone well-versed in WordPress or at least some experience in websites. If you don't have that as an option, we would be happy to help you with that as well. We're not just kind of throwing you and say, here, good luck. kind of like you do with a baby. I just say that because I had one not too long ago. They just gave me the baby and were like, all right, we'll see you next time. But yeah, if you have, if you'd like some support after delivery, we'd be happy to help you with that as well.
Another question, Dan, is a question about membership works. If somebody does a landing page, do they need membership works?
It's just not big enough to support a CRM like Membership Works. The only thing I'll say is if you have your own CRM, and you could get Membership Works, which part of the reason we picked it was because it's very affordable. I think you can have up to 500 members for like $35 a month. So affordability and value is something at the core of our initiative here. You could have Membership Works and just maybe have a link to it on the landing page. You just won't have those like member directory page, the events. You don't have an events page. You can have a calendar on that one landing page, but there wouldn't be any way you couldn't integrate it. You just wouldn't integrate it in the same way.
Okay, thank you, Dan. And then another question: is there a number of users per club? Admin users. So how many? It's probably advisable to have 2 or 3, maybe at least 2, maybe 3. But is there a limit as to the number of admins that you can club can assign?
No.
Okay, thank you for that. And then another question: we have a pretty exclusive WordPress site. Can we still purchase a landing page?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what about, Dan, those clubs that have sites that they've invested in, WordPress sites, a little bit different. Obviously, our goal is to have this brand. We want that brand identity where you come to any club and there's a certain look and a feel that everyone's going to know that's Skal, Skal International, Skal USA. But what can you provide to those clubs that have their website but want to do more to integrate and connect with the mothership, Skal USA?
Well, it's obviously not a whip crack all the way down that everyone has to get in line and get one of these. That's not the feeling that I got at all from the USA board, or that's not my feeling either. So if you want to maintain your own website, that's totally fine. There are ways that we could integrate, but it's probably going to be more manual in the sense of take events, for example. So you post events on your website. They're probably not going to be sent automatically to the USA website. You would just have to submit that event on the USA website. But a very minor task for a big benefit on something like that.
Right, thank you. Another question asked is, can we get a beta site to play with? Again, I know we've got our test site that you just shared with everyone, the work in progress site, but is there any resource that somebody can, and I know once we're going to have a future session to kind of help educate club admins on how to get the most out of their work on the site in terms of updates and what have you, and also Realign does offer support at a nominal fee to help admins beyond the initial training. But is there let me think, is there anything that I guess they could look at our page and maybe course around with it once it's up and running? What do you suggest?
I don't see any issue with creating like a sandbox website. Once we go live, we'll clone that and we'll have it at like sandbox.skalusa.org, and then we can just have generic admin credentials that the clubs can go in and see what does it look like on the inside, and is this something that I can handle on my own? I have no problem doing that.
Great, thank you, Dan.
John.
Yep.
I'm sorry to
that's okay,
jump
Stu.
in, but I sent that beta information in. There's a lot of little things that I saw on the site that I've got questions for that I don't want to take up the time with everybody. That's why I asked. So again, before it goes live, I would hope that this sandbox or beta site, we can look at it. So when we've got all of these little questions, Perfect example on the Find a Club. You showed the map. I saw a lot of cities on there listed that don't have clubs. I know they're how far is it from, this area to where a club is? I understand that, but it may confuse somebody who is trying to find a club. They'll say, "Oh, there's a club in Biloxi. Great, I'm going to join the Biloxi club." No, there's not.
Yeah.
So all these little things. I'm hoping we can, all give feedback to somebody. You, Dan, by the way, great presentation. I should have started off by saying that. Or to John or to somebody to get these questions answered.
No, absolutely, Stu. Great question, great comments. And I noticed that we were missing Jack Wert's Southwest Club. There wasn't a dot there in the Naples area. So I'm sure Holly and Jack picked up on that. But we need to go through that. We need to just clean it up. The sites, the clubs are loaded in there, but we probably need to work on that map a little bit. We're also trying to engage Skal International to see if we can populate the worldwide map with all the clubs. So we do have some work there. I would have no problem, Stu, if you wanted to take a look at the work in progress and the site that we're working on right now, and get your feedback on it. And I would encourage everyone on this webinar here to send me. You guys, please send it to me. I'm kind of the direct connection with Dan, so I will respond to your questions and your comments. Again, this is even once we get these items kind of nailed down, we're still going to be. It's going to be work in progress. As Dan mentioned earlier, the technology continues to change, and we have to be able to scale and change as technology changes to be up with the times. So we're going to do the best we can there. And again, I'm happy as long as I'm sitting in this chair to help facilitate that. So please send your questions and your comments to me. Obviously, there's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of questions you have after going through this presentation, but we will do our best to respond and give you an answer one way or the other about what's going on. But we appreciate everyone's interest. This is absolutely critical. This is your site. It's a club. It's the composite of the 35 clubs and all the members that make up the site. So thank you, Stu.
And I recommend for the clubs that do have their own websites and they don't want to have a new one or a landing page or whatever, to take advantage and do the landing page anyway, because it'll make a great connection between the new website and your current website. And you can use that landing page however way you want. It could be a seasonal special. It could be a special event. A lot of ways you can use that landing page.
Right. Thanks, Wayne. Yeah, and another question about how do we sign up? So, definitely let us know. You can send me your feedback on that you're interested. What level are you interested at? Again, we will. The first step is to get this site launched and get everything in place the best we can. Again, just switching out this site for the old site is a huge improvement. It's just much easier, much more user-friendly, better navigation. But we know we've got some work left here. So this was an unveiling. This was a soft opening, as we said. And again, we're by no means etched in granite here. So.
If I could just really quickly comment back on Stu. Stu, first, I appreciate your question and your comment. If I could kind of point to where we are on the progress line, on like the timeline, we were prioritizing function over that final polish, making sure everything's accurate and all that. So, I do appreciate your comment, because there are a couple things, as John said, that we need to just polish up at the end, and the things that you mentioned are on that list. So thank you for that.
Any other questions or comments, you guys? Again, I mean, I can't thank you enough for your level of interest in the questions and comments you've provided us today. This is very important. And as Wade mentioned, we're going to have another one in 2 weeks with Ashley Field, and we're working with Ashley right now and pushing out, the North American Skal Congress 2026. We just, we did the release on the hot hits today, but it's going into social media. So. She's a dynamo. If you guys were at this year's NASC in Clearwater, you got a chance to see her and hear her speak, she's incredible. She's going to do a great job for us.
John, you raised the price on the landing page by $25, just to let you know.
Oh, I apologize. It's 2 1/4.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that, Stu. I was, I was trying to get a commission out of that, but it's okay.
That's his rent for his face on the website.
That's right. Sorry about that. Any other questions or comments? Snide remarks? Dirty jokes?
No, just well done, everyone.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And
Yeah, this
Dan,
was
great
awesome.
job. Thank you. I'm sorry?
I was just saying this was so awesome. Thank you.
We've
Thank
been
you
waiting
for
a
all your hard work.
long
It's awesome.
time.
Thank you, Karen. Again, if unless if you guys want, please feel free to just follow up with me directly, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks again for your participation, and see you in 2 weeks.